and welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. It's Nog season, so it's time to happy hour with someone who's always got her eye on your money. Taylor Riggs, who is one of the co-hosts of the Big Money Show on the Fox Business Network.
Cheers.
A little nog to you,
to
Taylor.
Nog season.
That's right, to Nog season.
Okay, so this is eggnog.
Let's nog it out of the park.
Which is what? What is eggnog?
A lot of egg yolks, sugar.
I can't drink that.
It's a mocktail.
That's a lie.
What?
Did I just out you on your podcast?
I serve mocktails. Just take a sip. It's good for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just
There
take
we
a
go.
sip.
I'm good.
Don't be a wuss.
Don't peer pressure me.
I would never, ever in my whole life.
You know what's so funny is because you're a huge athlete. You're actually a huge inspiration. And so every time I'm training or running a marathon, and side note, you're also a huge reason why I got back into running after having my daughter.
Oh.
But it always surprises me when athletes drink because, we're so conscious about our bodies and anything. And so it's awesome to see you downing an eggnog. Because I know you just came off like a half Ironman.
Yeah. The only people I see drink more than libertarians are triathletes. And I was shocked because I was hanging out with a bunch of libertarians, and then I was hanging out with triathletes, and we were to race in Hawaii. And, a lot of athletes have water bottles in their backpacks as they're going to their rooms.
Of course.
I had a friend, and she had whiskey and vodka in her backpack. She was going to her room
wild.
during race week, and I was like, wow.
You're hardcore. I don't have the guts to do that during race week. That's awesome.
No, I abstain.
Oh yeah,
before races.
Usually just
you want to get rid of the inflammation in your body for sure. But I want to know, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, and I am so inspired. I mean, I'm amazed what the human body can do, especially after having kids. But you completed a marathon while you were pregnant.
Yeah.
Which I know invites judgment from people who don't run at all and they don't understand.
Yes.
But when your body is used to running, it's actually a very safe, soothing environment for your baby and actually gives you arguably a healthier pregnancy.
Yeah.
So
you were such an inspiration for me. And this is not because you invited me on your podcast, even though I've already been here for 2 years, Kennedy, and this is my first appearance. When I was pregnant, I think you knew about it. And, you have that debate within yourself. I've already been training for this marathon. I'll be 19 weeks pregnant. Should I still run it? Should I not? The doctor is totally you've been training for this. Yeah. You've been running 15 marathons before you're pregnant. Why would you not do your 16th while you're pregnant? But you're right. I think there's a lot of people who can be judgmental.
Yeah.
Who don't know, who would be like, oh my gosh, you're going to kill your baby. How dare you? I just sat on the couch for 10 months. And so it was coming into Fox News and Fox Business. It was so inspiring. You came up to me one day, and you probably don't even remember this. It might have been in the elevator or the hallway. And you said good, keep running. It's the best thing you can do. Oh. Awesome. You'll be a healthier mother, a healthier pregnancy. You'll recover faster. So I love when women can support each other, not only through the childbirth, but also sort of being a sounding board for me is sort of we're navigating health and fitness and wellness and pregnancy and all the things. So it was fun.
Yeah. And it's, it can be very lonely because, I was talking to Jessica Tarlov and she was like, I've never felt more judgment in my life than when I became pregnant and had my first child. And it's very true. There's something about motherhood where people love to attack you and you really have to define everything, from pregnancy and birth to how you raise your child on your own terms. And a lot of people want to take that away. But tell me about how it felt during the marathon. Was it different? Did your body feel different than other marathons? Did you go a lot slower? Did you run by heart rate? How did you do it?
Way slower. And this was April. I did the London Marathon, and my girl's 15 months now. So this was April of last year when I ran it. But I did go a lot slower. My doctor had said, you're fine, but your baby's heartbeat is already 160. So if you go up much higher, you're sort of pushing her up over the edge. So just keep your heart rate at conversational pace and do it. And so, my strategy was I took fluids at every water station. Yeah. used the restroom, which I had to do at every porta potty, and was very conversational. And anytime I sort of felt out of breath, I slowed it down. I walked up hills, and I used this time as I was, in London to enjoy the city, to take in the crowd.
It's almost like a baby moon.
Yeah. You know what? And it was like, I was a full hour slower. And I was like, cool, I'll just walk. I'll relax. I'll enjoy. It's London. Oh, we're on the London Bridge. How fun. And try to enjoy the experience of it versus the, pressure of one more mile. Here we go, So it was an awesome experience. And I love that women are taking more control of our bodies and being able to talk about what is right for you at any given moment.
Yeah, because, there was a time that pregnant women shouldn't run at all.
Yes.
And I started reading more and more, especially from triathletes and competitive athletes, about what they were doing during pregnancy. And I was like, again, we put these ceilings on ourselves. And then when you start to break through them and realize what is possible, because of course it's like, you're not shooting meth or snorting it, or smoking it.
No.
You are engaging in a physical activity. And it's like you're blanketing your baby in endorphins.
Yes.
And can there be anything better than that?
Oh, and they love the movement, the back and forth.
Yes.
My dad, bless his heart, I hope he doesn't kill me for saying this. He's older. Oh gosh, he might be 75. So he's just from a different generation. And I'll remember when maybe he was like, oh, maybe you shouldn't do that. And I kept reminding him, I'm pregnant. I'm not dying.
Yes.
Pregnancy is viewed sometimes in this country as a sickness, whereas in other countries it's celebrated as sort of a beautiful gift that a woman's enjoying. And so I have to remind people, I'm just pregnant. I'm not dying of cancer. I'm going to be okay.
Yes. It's not something where you have to treat the symptoms.
So I just did a marathon on Saturday.
Nice. How was it? Was that your first back?
Yes.
Okay.
So again, you had totally reminded me because I hadn't been running for a while after my daughter, and you kept saying find time for yourself, find time to just get a moment for you to go back to things that you love doing. And so this was the first, and I was inspired by you to be okay, Mama's still got it.
That's right.
I can do it.
Yep.
I can find time, even though I have no time to do it. And you told me, I think, to run home from work. And if that's the only way to get in a workout, to do it. So I've been doing that. And then you have just done a half Ironman.
Yes. And I did it slow because with the election and everything else, I didn't have the time to train that I did for the last race I did.
Yeah.
And I talked to my coach and I was like, I really don't want to drop out of this, but I don't want to push it and just go full bore because that would give me so much anxiety. And I did that 2 years ago, and that's how I injured my hip. I wanted to do a race for time. The swim was fine. The bike was great. And I was like, I'm really going to push it on the run. And my hip was obviously partially torn, and I tore it completely during the run and kept running because I wanted this time. And then not only at the end of the race was I so mad at myself, I was injured and had to have surgery. So I'm like, I'm not doing that again, but I still want to race. So I had to figure out a way. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to look at my watch. I'm going to go completely by feel.
Yes.
And so the swim, I wasn't in the mood to swim, so I lollygagged. My swim was 15 minutes slower than my last race, which was just in September.
As long as that tugboat, though, doesn't come. Because don't they sort of hurry you out?
There is a 1:10 cutoff. That's all you get. And then they take you out of the race. They pull your number and you are not finishing. So, I made it before the cutoff, but I was slow on the swim. And then the bike, I did fine. And the run, I didn't even look at my watch.
Amazing.
So my deal with myself was I'm going to keep running. No matter what, I'm not going to walk, even though it's a hilly race. I'm going to keep running. And I did. And I ran slow. But I think I ran happier than any other race I've ever done.
Isn't it
fun?
And
when I got to mile 11, I actually touched the mile marker sign because I was almost like a high five.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is the best feeling. And I was still running. And then mile 12, I picked up my pace a little bit. And when I finished, I was so elated because I was not chained to my watch. I was not chained. And there will be other races where I really want to push it and improve my time.
Yeah.
And I will. That's a nice thing about doing a slow race is your next race, you're automatically faster.
Yes. Yes.
But I had so much fun. Whereas before, 5 or 10 years ago, I would have been so mad at myself. And I would have been like, God, why did I do that? And I would be looking at my times going, I could have done 5 minutes better here. And I know I could have done a minute and a half faster per mile on the run. But it's I'm not doing that. And I earned that medal. And the day before, I told my boyfriend, I was like, my knee is hurting so badly.
Yeah.
And I said, this is the only time I've ever said this, but if I don't feel good after the bike, I'm going to stop the race. And I have never said that. Yeah. So I got off the bike and he's like, are you going to stop? And I said, no, my knee feels good. I'm going to keep going. And I did, and I finished.
Don't go anywhere. More Kennedy Saves the World right after this.
Well, and part of this like Make America Healthy Again movement that I'm a super fan of is it's physical health, but it's also enjoying being healthy. Like RFK Jr. looks happy lifting weights, right? So if I'm doing a race to be healthy, that's one thing. But if I'm doing it, but it's not fun, I want to race because it's fun. I want to do marathons because it reminds me of the human spirit.
Yes.
Of a group of people coming together and doing things that we think is impossible for the body. And you have fun and your time's slow, but you're healthy and you're all in it together.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I have to tell you a quick story. My husband will kill me. He did a half Ironman.
You're going to have to line up behind your dad. Okay?
This is just the show where I just rat on all the men in my life.
Fantastic.
Apparently. He did a half Ironman, totally untrained, no idea what he was doing, didn't even bring a wetsuit. Wow. It was in like Boulder, Colorado.
Oh.
I think he had goggles, but they fogged up. So he ended up doing the swim backstroke, looking up at the beautiful Colorado sky.
It's probably faster than I did my swim.
He is never going to live that one down.
That's great.
That's all I have to say.
The first open water swim I did, and this was in 1995. I'd never done an open water swim. I did one triathlon before that in a pool where you snake the lanes. So this is the first one, and I did not train in open water. I had no concept of it. I just assumed it was like the pool. And so I started swimming, and I'm like, I'm so fast. I'm so fast. And I hear the announcer go, you're swimming the wrong way. And I thought to myself, oh my God, how embarrassing for that person. Like whoever that is, what a loser. And I looked up and the entire pack was going this way and I was going that way toward the shore. And I was like, no. So I lost so much time on the swim. But after that, I learned how to sight.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
But it's like you have to honor where you are. It's fine to modify. Yeah. Just like, and I was riding the bus over in the morning with a younger woman who had never done a triathlon before. And this is her first triathlon, first half Ironman. And she was like, I'm so nervous. And I said, listen, I said, start the swim slow. I said, you're going to have moments in the race where you're really going to want to push it and just push it. Like if you feel a surge of energy, just take it. And she was like, oh, I feel so much better now. She's like, I was worried I was going to walk the whole way. And I'm like, you won't. Because you will have adrenaline and you've already trained. Yes. Like trust. And that's what Sandra Smith taught me. Trust your training.
She's also a great, incredible athlete.
And a great mom.
I just love the human spirit coming together. I think the first time my mom saw me finish my first marathon, she was teary because I think there's always a part of you that wonders, like, my daughter says she's been training, but like, is this possible? And then like, oh my gosh, she did it. And thousands of other people did it. And it's incredible. And it's sort of this big, compelling movement. And then at the beginning of the race, when they're singing the national anthem, I'm always in tears.
Love that.
It's just an incredible way
so much.
Of people coming together and like enjoying together what they love to do.
Yeah, especially,
so I'm a total fan.
You know, it's like with running, unless you're part of a running club, it can be very solitary.
Very.
And when you are with all those people, you realize like it's so great to have a common goal.
Yeah.
And I do think that has a multiplier effect in your life.
Totally. I always say running is my therapy.
Yeah.
I mean, I could pay for a therapist, but if I'm out there alone on the road, some of that is the best form of physical, mental, psychological therapy I could ever have.
That's really interesting because my dad started marathon running in his 40s.
Yeah.
And I remember asking him because I was a kid and I didn't love running and I wanted to because I wanted to make my dad happy. But I was like, what do you love about running? And he said, it's the only time I have to think.
Yes.
You know, as a kid, like you don't have to think that much. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? And now
you get it.
As an adult and as a parent, like I totally understand because, you know, our lives are so compressed and we have so little time to just really unwind and be in the moment. And, you know, and I always tell people, you don't have to run because people will say like, oh, I hate running. It's like, then don't run.
Right.
Play pickleball.
Yes.
Do Pilates. Do something that you absolutely love as long as you're getting your body moving, you're challenging yourself, and there's measurable ways of improving. Just have at it.
I love it. I'm a huge fan of David Goggins.
Yeah.
And he could be a little hardcore.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, with like...
He loves swearing.
The F-bombs. Yeah, I was going to say. Sometimes like the book, I'm like, I'm glad this isn't an audio book because every other word would be bleeped because I read both of his sort of autobiographies.
That's really
I'm
funny.
Like, I think I ordered the clean version by the second one. I was like, just give me the clean version so I can get through the book. But yeah, he's a huge fan of maybe to the opposite of what we're talking about where he would probably say, I'm weak and I got to get out there and push it more.
You're not hard.
Yeah, toughen up. Who's carrying the boats? But, you know, I like both strategies, whatever sort of gets us out into the world, into fresh air, engaging with each other, smiling with each other, enjoying races together, whatever that is.
There are times where you have to be really gentle with yourself. There are times where you have to yell at yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And be like, get up off your feet. And I do that to myself occasionally. Yeah. And all of a sudden I'm going a little faster.
Yep.
So whatever works.
Yes.
That is another thing you find out as a mom. Like, whatever works. We all have this plan of perfection. And my daughter asked me that the other day, like, what kind of a mom did you think you were going to be before you had us?
Good question.
Yeah. And I showed her the Instagram clip of, you know, this is the mom I thought I was going to be, and it's Julie Andrews and The Sound of Music singing my favorite things on the bed with the children. And then the next one is Judge Judy, like, shut up, shut your mouth right now. You shut up right now. And it's like, I don't yell at my kids like that, but it doesn't matter. Sometimes you feel that way.
It's so funny. It reminds me of a similar Instagram story that our algorithm must be the same, where it's like what you think you are. And it's like the nice toy from Toy Story, the cute little dinosaur.
Yeah.
And it's like what you really are. And it's the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, like eating people.
It's so true.
It's all good.
I love it. Well, cheers to you, Taylor.
Cheers. This was fun.
This is amazing. And now I'm inspired to run right into the winter and into the new year. So
Let's do it.
Amen.
Run in 2025.
Go run. Go do it. Make America healthy again. This has been Kennedy Saves the World. Along with Taylor Riggs, I'm Kennedy.
Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app. Oh, go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.